Today's call of the day is brought to you by Ramsey Mazda. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. The newest member of the CBS broadcast crew on Sundays, along with your former partner, Tiki Barber, our teammate, of course, and Andrew Catalan. But one of, if not my favorite athletes of all time, and there's a reason for it. He earned that. Think how critical I am of guys. Well, Matt Ryan, what he did for the Atlanta Falcons franchise should not be overlooked. I think he's a Hall of Famer, great dude, and now a great broadcaster. We welcome into the show Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. Matt, I love you.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank
Sal,
you, Matt.
It's great to finally be on, man.
Hey, we do appreciate the time. First, let me get. I missed that damn FaceTime call with Tiki. Tiki tried to FaceTime me with Matt Ryan.
I know it.
I missed it. I missed that, Matty.
Well, listen, we'll do it again. We've got I don't know how many more games to go for the regular season, so we'll get another opportunity. We'll give you a call. Pick up the next time Tiki calls.
I appreciate. Look, this is even more coming on the show with
That's
BT
cool.
and I. So I do appreciate that, Matt. So I loved watching you play on Sundays. I'm enjoying watching you broadcast. How are you adjusting to now being a broadcaster on Sundays?
I mean, it's different. You know, obviously, nothing replaces playing, but you know, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun working with Tiki. He's been great. Andrew Catalan's been, you know, incredibly helpful for you know, really both of us, Tiki and myself, of kind of navigating the three-man booth. We're lucky to have AJ Ross down on the sideline. So, you know, the Sundays have been a lot of fun. I love the fact that you have no idea what's about to happen from 1 to 4, and you got to be prepared and ready to go and just kind of adapt like you're playing.
One criticism, we're talking with Matt Ryan, of course. He's on the call for the Jets-Giants this Sunday, newest member of the broadcast team with Tiki and Catalan on Sunday. One criticism I have of Zach Wilson so far, Matt, is that, you know, you yourself have been a fiery competitor, very nice guy, but a fiery competitor. I'm not seeing that total command or fire from Zach Wilson just yet. I know he's got the arm talent. I know he's got the skill. We're seeing him progress here little by little, but I feel like I'm missing that edge. Do you see that as a former quarterback and MVP yourself? What are you seeing from Zach Wilson so far?
Well, I think he's been – I think it's really a tale of the first 3 games and the last 3 games. You know, I think the first 3 games, you know, and coming in to have to replace Aaron Rodgers in that opening Monday night game, it just felt like the whole team was stunned for a couple of weeks. And I think he was as well. I think the last 3 weeks he's played a little bit better. He's been particularly better in the second half of games. I think his completion percentage goes up like 7 or 8 points. His yards per attempt go up like 3 yards in the second half the last 3 games. So he's played better. I think he's played efficient. I think, you know, what you mentioned about the fire, the passion, I think he's been so humbled the first couple of years in New York that he's getting this next chance. And I think he's trying to earn the respect of guys, you know, before going out there and putting on a show or anything like that. I think he really is. I think he's trying to earn that respect from his teammates, trying to play efficient football. They're good enough to win if he plays efficiently. You know, they don't need unreal performances from him because they're so talented on the defensive side of the ball and they can run the football. So I think that's part of it, but I'm with you. I'd love to see that from quarterbacks. I want guys who compete.
Well, Matt, I didn't have a Matt Ryan poster in my bedroom, but I've had equal respect for you watching you from a. My sister went to BC, by the way, so I've watched you for a long time, man.
Oh, I love that. Love a good BC connection.
Yeah, a little Chestnut Hill. I wasn't smart enough to go there, but she was. So I got a couple of things for you. Number one, Matt, how close were you to becoming a New York Jet? Honestly,
not close. You know, it was so funny. Tiki was wearing me out that whole week and like, oh man, they're talking about it up here. What's going on? I'm like, listen, dude, I'm not going. You know, they and rightfully so. You know, they played that Monday night game and then had the quick turnaround and put full confidence in Zach and you know, for me it was I'm happy with what I'm doing and enjoying, you know, being in the booth and not getting hit and having a little bit of fun, and you know, so it was never really close.
All right, so just to be clear, it wasn't close because they didn't reach out or because you liked where you were?
I think both sides, to be honest with you. I think it never really – I think there's, you know, so much noise that gets made, but both sides were never close.
I got you. All right, so we're talking to Matt Ryan here on the show, of course, BT and Sal. You were a man of durability. You played a lot, and that's one of the reasons why you put up the numbers and, you know, garnered the respect that you did. You showed up and answered the bell. You always posted every single Sunday. So you don't know a ton about injuries, but you know what it because you didn't have many. You know what it takes to answer the bell every week. Do you honestly believe that there's a chance that Rodgers can will himself back at some point in late December or January? You know the Achilles. You know what happened. Can he do this?
Listen, I played against Aaron enough, and I know Aaron well enough that I don't discount anything. You know, he is hell-bent on getting himself back and ready to go. I think it's going to be difficult. I think he said that. You know, it's a goal for him to be able to get back, and he's doing everything he can. But I'm with him. I think it is going to be difficult. There's a lot of milestones that you have to. It'd be the first time I've seen anything like that, and so I'm hoping he does. You know, as a friend and as a guy who competed against him for a long time, I love watching him play. Hated playing against him, but love watching him play. And I'm hoping he can get back, whether it's the end of this season or which I think is going to be a tall task, but whether it's the end of this season or next season, I really am looking forward to watching him play at some point.
Talking with Matt Ryan, he'll be on the call for CBS along with Tiki Barber, Andrew Catalan for the Jets-Giants game on Sunday. Matt, I know he's probably not going to play, but Daniel Jones, what has been your evaluation of Daniel Jones so far in his now 5th year in the league?
Well, I thought he had a nice year last year. I really did. I thought, and they won some close games. They were, they were a physical football. They ran him a lot, which I think catches up with you. He's just taking too many hits. And I think, beginning of this year, just all of the moving parts that they've had for the Giants, the turnstile that's been the offensive line. I mean, just different guys every week, not being able to have any continuity, consistency. And then honestly, you have Saquon out, and you have a young wide receiver group that you're trying to develop. It's hard to, at least from my perspective as a former quarterback, it's hard to evaluate anything from that 4 or 5 game stretch because there's just so many moving parts, and he was getting killed. And I think it's a guy that can be a consistent winner in this league. I really do. And I think it's playing the way that he did last season, running the football, making plays with his legs. And then, being efficient and not turning the football over in the passing game. I think that was the recipe for success last year. But in order to do that, you have to have the pieces around you. And they in the start to this season, they just haven't had it. They've had too many guys injured.
Can you see, I mean, you can, but can you explain to us, like schematically, last year we were on the airwaves saying, Brian Daboll, even though Parcells' a defensive guy, it seems like he's the next Parcells for the Giants. He was just amazing. He elevated Jones. He pumped life into a team that was dead for a decade, and he was a rock star. And this year, for reasons you chronicled, some injuries and some other stuff, it's not going so well, but he's still the same guy. So when you evaluate Daboll as a head coach, what do you see? What's his best characteristic, and what do you think he has to work on?
I think the part you mentioned is the best characteristic. Up or down, regardless. He's showing up. He's the same guy, and that's huge with players. I think that sometimes gets often overlooked outside of the building. Inside the building, that consistency, the continuity, knowing exactly what you're going to get every day. I think that is one of his best strengths. I think the other thing too, that I think is a real strength of his is he's a bit of a chameleon as a play caller. Like he can adapt to different guys, to different players that they have. He's been a little bit different, whether it be in Buffalo or New England or even you take the first couple of weeks and then Tyrod comes in playing the guy's strengths. I think he does a really good job of that. And then I think, if anything, in terms of the critical side, it comes down to winning games, of course. But I think the process that he's going through right now, it's the talent evaluation. It's working with the GM to make sure that you guys are getting the people in the building that you want and trying to work through the cap things. I think those are all areas he'll get better, but that's part of being a head coach for the first time.
Matt, I got a request for you here. So I used to work with Tiki for a long time, and when he did games, I'd say, hey, make sure you talk about our show. Get a little Tiki and Tierney pop on there. And he did it a couple of times. I'm not going to ask you to do that because I don't know you, but I'm begging you to do one thing. Please, with this massive tri-state audience that's tuning into this pivotal game, can you please promise me, don't worry about the name, just balance out Tiki's Giants homerism. Please, Matt.
I understand. This is we were joking about that the other day. I felt like last week it was, okay, I got to take on some of the Commanders here. I got to talk about what they're trying to do. I think it'll be the same this week. But
yeah, good.
He only had one blatant homer call last week when they finally scored a first half touchdown. He was like, "Finally!"
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that. I did.
You know
that.
what? You probably deserve that because it's been a brutal start to the season offensively for him.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We're talking with Matt Ryan. I got a couple for you, Matty, about your career here that I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. You could rapid fire if you like. I know we got a couple minutes. Smitty or Quinn?
Impossible. I'd take both of them. Really, I love both those guys.
I asked that because I loved Mike Smith. I think he gets a bad rap. Some people didn't think he could get you guys over the hump, and I know Dan Quinn got you to the Super Bowl, but we know how that ended, so I always wanted to ask you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but...
I love both those guys. Honestly, I was lucky for the majority of my career it was those two. I agree with you on Mike Smith. I thought he's a good football. He was a really good football coach, man. And he had us playing well for a long time.
You guys together, dude, you guys together took it. BT, people forget, like, Michael Vick was thrown in jail. The franchise quarterback went to prison. The franchise couldn't have been in worse shape. Here comes Mike Smith that nobody ever heard of and a rookie quarterback, and they instantly turned into a successful team that, for the first time in the franchise history, had back-to-back winning seasons.
What a Lambeau, right? That's Tinder. What a Lambeau?
No,
that was Vic. My bad. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That, but other stuff. Another one for you, Matty. And I was at a bunch of these playoff games, whether it was flying down to Atlanta or here in New York. Outside of the Super Bowl, worst playoff loss.
Oh man, could have been in New York. 24-2, I think, was the score.
That's why I bring that up.
Yeah, no offensive touchdowns. We had a field goal. I think we got stuffed on like 3 or 4 QB sneaks in that game. And then Mike Smith was actually funny. I don't think I ran a QB sneak for like 2 years after that playoff loss up there because we got shut down. That was a hard one.
And the reason why I said, and you had a bad one too before that with losing to the Packers at home, but they were a good team. You guys were better than that Giants team that went on to win the freaking Super Bowl. That could have been one for you guys as well that year. I really believe you were better than that team.
Yeah, we were a good football team. I'll tell you the other one that hurt was the year after we went to the Super Bowl. We had the Eagles on the wire in Philadelphia, and they went on to win the Super Bowl after they beat us. But that was we had a couple chances.
Well, listen, you're not a Super Bowl winner, but you're a Super Bowl propeller. You propel other teams to Super Bowls.
Oh, shut up, BT. I don't want to hear that. Have you accepted it, Matt? Because I had a hard time. I was doing the overnight show before I got moved here with BT. And by the way, you're now Tiki's partner. I kind of, BT, you traded Tiki for me, and there's got to be some kind of connection there. But so I was doing the overnight saying that if I were the Jets, I would call you to come in. This was before they got Aaron Rodgers. Because I can't let it go. You deserve better. Much like Patrick Ewing in this town, I felt like he deserved the championship. You didn't end up getting that. I'm not going to bring up the stupid Super Bowl, but have you accepted, Matt, that you're not going to, in all likelihood, have another opportunity to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, I don't think you ever really get over it. Like that's part of it that is always there. But I also think about it. I got 3 young kids that are healthy and happy. My wife's doing great. My family's good. Like, there's a lot of good in my life too. And so, I think it'll always be something in there that stings. We didn't get it done. And I'll always be disappointed about that. But, man, life moves on, and you got to keep going. And I got a long way to go and a lot of different things I got to do with my life. So, disappointing for sure, but I'm all right. I'm good with where I'm at.
All right. Well, then I guess I can move on too. So you're officially retired. I got to put that to bed. The dream is dead.
I mean, not until the end of the season.
Okay. Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Get the Colts money because they suck. The Colts did you dirty. You can't say it because you're a class guy. Screw the Colts. I hope they lose every game, every time they play. They did you dirty, Matty Ice. Matt Ryan. Well, I love you, dude. I don't want you to say anything bad. I know you're not going to, but we appreciate the time. We're looking forward to the call on Sunday. You've done a great job so far. BT, he's an up-and-comer.
He is, Matt, I'm not just saying this. You've been tremendous in the booth, man. Really, really well done.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Always fun to come on with you, and we'll have to get back on. Hopefully we get some more New York games later in the season.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. He is Matt Ryan, of course. Best of luck the rest of this year. We'll be watching you on Sunday. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, BT. I know we agree on that.
I think he's a Hall of Famer, too.
He should be. And think about this. As critical as we are on guys, for good reason, Matt Ryan never get. You could pick apart the athleticism at times or certain decisions that were made.
Sure. I mean, everybody you can, really.
Right,
Brett Favre, Rodgers.
he's everything you could ever want in a franchise quarterback and beyond.
He was a leader.
And it just sucks that he came this freaking close to completing the puzzle. Not just for me as a fan, but for him. He won the MVP that year.
I know he did.
I'd say similar to Ewing. That's what I mean. Ewing
a
got
little
to
bit
the
of
finals.
Mattingly, too. I mean, although Mattingly got hurt. I mean, I know we got to break. The crazy thing, though, it's one thing to transition to TV and be really good at it. Another thing when you transition to a booth with somebody else in it, not just a play-by-player, but he's navigating a three-man booth.
Right.
Now, that's partly certainly on Catalan, on Tiki being, not feeling the need to take the oxygen out of the room and speak all the time and knowing what he's very good at, knowing when to lay out and giving Matt a runway to be great. I think Matt Ryan's been phenomenal on TV. I really do.
I think the booth overall, I told Tiki this too, I think they sound great.
They sound really good.
BT and Sal on the fan.